And once again, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. Excited to also be able to welcome in those tuning in on the various platforms such as Instagram, Twitter. Also, we have Facebook and YouTube joining us. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. Excited about this For Your Health segment of Cyrus Webb Presents here on Amazon Live. And we definitely are glad you all can be with us. Appreciate you guys already following us over there on Amazon Live. Amazon has moved some things around, so I want to let you guys know, for those who are new here, everything now is beneath us. Normally you see me pointing in this direction, that direction, but now they've moved the follow button to beneath where myself and my guests are, as well as the products we're going to be talking about today. I'm highlighting right now PANOXOL Plus here on Amazon Live. It's actually on sale right now. You get $30 off. It is $58. If you all have been following us here on Amazon Live, you know we've been talking with a great panel of doctors to talk about the benefits of PANOXOL, who it's for, and of course, answering your questions along the way. We also are joined by a very special guest today. So rejoining us today, we're excited to welcome back Dr. Ronnie DeLuz. Also, we have with us Dr. Matthew Michaels, and we have a brand ambassador of PANOXOL joining us today, Brian Gibbs. Hello to all of you. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Well, I mean, you all are basically family at this point. So I enjoy this time because you all make me smarter. You definitely are able to help our audience, and I really appreciate that. Dr. Ronnie, for those though who may be new, and I see some people who are just joining us, actually following us now on Amazon Live, which means they have not been with us previously. Why don't you walk through a little bit about your own work and how you got involved with PANOXOL?
So I'm a naturopathic doctor. I come from an allopathic world as a registered nurse. I am now doing functional medicine, and I do holistic retreats around the globe. I live on Martha's Vineyard. I have a healed center and a retreat here, and I'm actually working with people from all around the country. They come to Martha's Vineyard, not only to go to the Heal Center, but sometimes they stay with me for 21 days. I'm a New York Times bestseller. My book was 21 Pounds in 21 Days, the Martha's Vineyard Diet Detox. That's when I met a lot of celebrities and politicians that would stay with me on the vineyard. With that being said, I realized that my world has changed since COVID. I started practicing functional medicine online. And then I met Willis Victory, which changed my whole world around because in a very good way, because I was doing 21 chronic illnesses with 21 detoxes. Then I said, wow, this is amazing that I'm going to actually learn a lot about PANOXOL. So I went and I did some major research on it. And yes, it has changed many, many lives here on Martha's Vineyard, and is continuing to do that. Because one of the things that I realized that I was doing, I was treating the 4 highs: high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high sugar, and high weight. And that's millions and millions of people. So what happened was I started giving them PANOXOL, and literally I could see changes not only in their face because their color was changing, but I started to see changes in the way their activity was. Like literally people who couldn't walk up a flight of steps was now walking up a flight of steps. Now, why was all that happening? I kept saying, so nitric oxide, which we all have, sometimes it decreases in our bodies as we age, also with chronic illness. And one of the things that really got my attention was young people was actually benefiting from nitric oxide. So we take a combination of natural supplements and it just does wonders for the body. It increases your energy, it builds oxygenation, it produces great blood flow, it helps your immune system. I can go on and on and on. And one of the things that it did for my diabetics, it improves the insulin sensitivity. So, I sat back and I thought, Willis, this is nothing more than a miracle. Lots of things are happening with my clients, not only on Martha's Vineyard, but around the globe. As I started talking to them on functional medicine, I was finding people out of the country was benefiting. So we have something huge here. Dr. Michaels will explain the science behind it all. But one of the things that I can tell you is I have so many testimonials, and it's just exciting. It's exciting for me to wake up and hear the testimonies that I'm hearing today.
Well, appreciate that, Dr. Ronnie. So, Dr. Michaels, your name was invoked there, so I'm going to bring you into the conversation. I'm glad to have you back with us. Why don't you walk our audience through a little bit about your work and also your experience with PANOXOL?
Sure. So I'm an MD, medical doctor. I graduated in 1996, been around for quite a while now. I've also had my own fair share of severe illness back in the early part of the century. I had a bone marrow transplant for what turned out to be an autoimmune disease, but we didn't know that at the time. It was curative, but of course it left me with quite a bit of challenges health-wise, both during and after. So for me, ever since the beginning of my training, I've had to some degree of skepticism about pharmaceuticals in terms of looking to a pill to be the be-all and end-all for everything. So I never really fell into the trap of thinking that all we needed to do to treat our hypertension and our diabetes, et cetera, was simply to take a pill or take a shot. I knew that that wasn't really going to be it. We weren't really treating the disease process itself. We were treating the symptoms of the disease. And so that has been kind of a trend of my practice all along. For myself, it kind of relates also to the fact that I'm a musculoskeletal doctor. My specialty is physical medicine and rehabilitation. I've been doing interventional physiatry or spinal injection techniques and joint injections, et cetera, since the onset of my practice. Lately, that has turned more towards regenerative medicine, doing more of the platelets and stem cell injections. And again, for my world in this respect, we're really talking about autologous products that come from your own body, your own stem cells, your own platelets, et cetera, not something that comes out of a vial from somewhere, which have been pretty much proven to not really contain what they're supposed to. So ultimately, the idea there is to use the body to heal itself, to use understanding and knowledge about the body to heal itself. And for me, I have had back pain since I was a child, since I was 12 years old. I have no memories in my life without back pain. And there were times when it was quite crippling. When I was 18 years old, I went to the Caribbean with my family, and I was in Aruba with a beach full of young eligible women. And I was sitting in my bedroom in bed trying to not be miserable with back pain. And so ultimately I knew something had to change. And I did see a Dutch physiotherapist on the island who gave me some little clues as far as what I could do to help myself. And I started doing those things. But then after medical school and residency training and really learning the musculoskeletal system, I began to develop a knowledge and an idea as far as what I really needed to change in my life to feel better. Because I began to notice that all I would have to do is bend over to wash the dishes or to put on my socks and my back would go out. I wouldn't have to do anything crazy like pick up a bag of concrete. And I was doing that too. I've always been a kind of a guy who enjoys hard work, clearing land, splitting wood, etc. But I knew that the things that put my back out were not those heavy things. It was everyday light stuff. And so I really wanted to find out why that was. Invoked a type of therapy called McKenzie therapy and saw that that's the most effective kind of therapy for back and neck pain. But it only works when you're actually doing it as therapy. So I kind of developed a system that allows you to take that form of therapy into the real world where you're always doing therapy on yourself by better understanding what the heck is going on in your back or your neck. Why does it hurt so much? Why is there this blinding spasm and pain where you can't really breathe? And it hurts so much that you can't concentrate on anything else. That's what my book is about. And so the idea there was that I kind of got the development of this theory that the best way to treat a person is to teach them about what's really going on, to help so they really understand their own disease. Because you're not really going to be able to intercede for yourself until you understand the problem. Wrote a book about that, and that really is where my foundation of practice comes from. And when Keith Matthews approached me about exactly a year ago about PANOXOL, I did some research, figured out what it really was, how it could really benefit me and my patients, and I dove in, really decided to become a part of the operation and the prospect of bringing it to the market. And so it's important to understand what's in there. Excuse me for the voice. Mm-hmm. 4 very powerful herbs that have been around for thousands of years that really do an amazing job of promoting nitric oxide production, but do other things as well. For example, horse chestnut seed extract does promote nitric oxide production in our vasculature, our arteries as they get smaller. The horse chestnut seed helps expand that, but then it does something special from there, which is as the blood flows through the capillaries and comes back out into the veins in our legs tend to be leaky as we get older. That leakiness causes the ankles to swell and causes a discoloration of the legs called chronic venous stasis. So what horse chestnut does there is it also tightens the spaces between the cells in the veins so that blood does not leak out. It can actually get through the capillaries into the veins and then all the way back into your system without causing the swelling and the discoloration, which can lead to inflammation and infection of the legs as well. So horse chestnut seed does that special thing. Cayenne very much promotes nitric oxide production, but also promotes insulin sensitivity and metabolism increase. Ginkgo biloba goes beyond that to promote nitric oxide production and dilate blood vessels to promote blood flow, but especially in the brain. So it allows you to think more clearly and be more alert and aware so that you can understand your problem better and act more effectively for yourself in terms of exercising more and doing all the other things that we need to go along with just taking a pill. So we don't want you to just take PANOXOL and feel like that's going to be everything for you. We want you to be able to do all these other things as well. Finally, the red yeast rice promotes a better balance of cholesterol, while it also reduces inflammation in the system. And what we found, though, is that each one of these things alone is a powerful ingredient, but really what we have in PANOXOL is this combination that was developed very systematically over a period of time to treat one person who had all of these conditions, the swollen ankles, the cardiovascular disease, the heart failure, etc. And he actually was treated very, very effectively by Dr. Keith Richards with this product that he developed over the course of about a year. Very important to know. And so again, our goal is not just to have you look into PANOXOL, understand it, and hopefully use it for your health, but also to use it to gain a better understanding of why you're using it, what it's actually doing in your body, and how this can promote everything else that we want you to do. That Dr. Ronnie can speak very effectively about eating better foods in the right way at the right times, doing certain types of cleanses to really keep your body moving in the right way, but also exercising consistently.
I love that. Brian, your experience with PANOXOL, and we have had now, since we've been bringing the doctors on, we've only had those in the medical profession joining us to talk about PANOXOL. We have not spoken with anyone outside of the medical profession who have been able to benefit from using it. So I want to talk about you, Brian. Thank you so much, first of all, for being with us. How did you first discover PANOXOL? What led you down the road to discover PANOXOL?
Hey, thank you for having me. About a couple months ago, I got a friend, Katik, and what he did was, like, he constantly kept telling me about the product. And a lot of times, you know what, you're very skeptical because a lot of times people tell you about things. And to me, what he wanted to do, listen, I want you to try it. I want you to try it for yourself. And what I did was, you know what, okay, I got the box, I got the product, and I started trying it. To me, I am a big coffee drinker. Like, I got away from like the Mountain Dew and the Red Bull. And what I started doing is I started taking PANOXOL, start following the right direction. And you know what? I noticed, and I took black coffee and all that sugar completely out of my diet. Then I started seeing myself being more refreshed. I like to tease people at work and tell them like I'm 90 years old or whatever. But the difference is like with the energy and the way I move around the facility, and even right now start working out more, because once again, health is wealth. And when I tried it and I started seeing, initially I didn't see anything. But the difference is, as time went on, I start seeing like certain little things or whatever, like, to me, like once I'm up. And I'm like that, ricochet rabbit, I'm all over the place. And I'm seeing like, okay, where's this coming from? And to me, I just kept going. And not only that, when I look at it and I start doing my research and understanding it from talking to, Dr. Michael and, my mother, I lost my mother years ago of a massive stroke. So, different is right now is people don't understand, like you got silent killer. It don't tell you it's coming. It don't tap you to show them here. Only thing it does is snuff your life out. So when you sit back and you look at it, and a lot of times we don't understand. I've been guilty of, when I go to the doctor, my blood pressure is great, but my cholesterol has been high. As lately, nothing. I haven't had no problem whatsoever. And what really, really impressed me was about 3 to 4 weeks ago, Katik was sick. I'm talking about right now, he was out of it. And nobody know what to do until he got in contact with the PANOXOL, professional. They told his doctor what to do to basically really save him and bring him back to where he's at today. And to me, with that being said, like when you started looking at commercials, like, I always go back to Michael Jackson, may he rest in peace. It's like taking, doing the Pepsi Cola. He didn't drink Pepsi Cola, but he just doing the commercial. So to me, that's why I always like, even if I'm doing a live, I show people, I get a bottle. And when I get my bottle, guess what? I'm due to take 2. So guess what? I'm not trying to be up. So that's what you have to do, because a lot of times people are, man, that's just a gimmick, or that's this and that. No, it's not a gimmick. Because once again, to me, if I don't believe in something, I can't speak about nothing. To me, I have to believe it and knowing that it'll work. If I know that it'll work, I can speak about it. If it didn't work, I wouldn't be here today.
We appreciate that, Brian. And Brian, all three of you brought up something. I want to say hello to Computer Pal Inc. Thank you so much for the follow. Hope you're doing well. And thanks to you also, to Ellie. Thank you so much for being with us too, for following us there on Amazon Live. You all are watching Cyrus Web Presents here on Amazon Live. This is part of our For Your Health segment here on Amazon Live. We're excited to welcome a great panel today to talk about a supplement that has been able to help people with a variety of things. You've been hearing some of it here. We're excited to welcome back Dr. Ronnie DeLuz to our program and Dr. Matthew Michaels. And we have the brand ambassador for PANOXOL, Brian Gibbs, joining us as well, talking with them about the benefits of PANOXOL. And it is on sale right now as we are doing this broadcast. They're doing this for us, $30 off for only $58. You will see it there. All you have to do is click below in the carousel. You'll be able to get your own bottle of it. I want to talk about something that all of you mentioned, and that was about research, about knowledge. I know all three of you mentioned that individually. Before I do that, though, Dr. Michaels, I want to go to you for something that's listed there. This is a U.S. patented supplement. Why is that important for our audience to know that?
Well, it's important to know that you're not going to find this specific ingredient anywhere else. Sure, you can look at the bottle and find the ingredients and go out and buy them individually, and that would probably do something for you, but it's going to be very expensive and time consuming to buy each one of these ingredients separately. So it's important to know that the United States government would not have provided this patent if it weren't something that were real and patentable, something that was worth having a patent on and making it a unique product that nobody else could duplicate for 20 years. So we do actually have a study done at the Villages in Florida that showed that PANOXOL was potent for controlling blood pressure across the board in that group of patients, and actually more so for those people who were most hypertensive to begin with. I would encourage you to go to the website and go to panoxol.com/study and look at it for yourself. It can really give you a better feeling for what this can accomplish. I think it's important to know that we have been really using this primarily as a tool to help promote a healthier blood pressure. But most of the people who take it talk about other benefits. I know for me, energy has been a key finding for me that I find when I take it regularly. It's a subtle thing. It's not like I feel vibrating energy or anything like that. I just feel like I can do more. When I come home from work, I'm not exhausted where I just want to eat my dinner, sit down and watch a half an hour TV and go to bed. I feel like if there are chores to be done at night, I can get that done. And I really wasn't like that before. I tend to be a very early morning person. I'm up at 5 o'clock every morning and I want to go to bed early. And I start winding down early. But PANOXOL just makes it easier to keep the flow going throughout the day and not feel so tired. I also find that I get a better workout when I take PANOXOL before I work out for the nitric oxide effect. And there's lots of nitric oxide boosters out there that you'll find for athletic performance. We believe this one is better because it's just based on how these various herbs can promote nitric oxide. And so I also find that I recover better and faster when I use PANOXOL regularly before and after my workouts. People talk about being easier to control their weight, seeing that their weight is coming off more rapidly. It's important to note that we're in a sphere where we are not trying to make any kind of claims about this product. This product is not designed to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. We can talk about the ingredients and what they have been doing for people for thousands of years. And then we know that this unique combination of these ingredients is very powerful.
Since we have you there, Dr. Michaels, I want you to address what all three of you mentioned, and that was the importance of doing your own research. What have you told your patients, and what have you said to others that you've been telling them about PANOXOL, about the importance of that? I'm going to go around the table here, but for you, Dr. Michaels, why has it been so important?
Well, so for example, I think that it basically comes from an underlying philosophy for me. As I mentioned about my back pain issues throughout my life, I was able to develop this system that allowed me, a guy who's been told I need a spinal fusion at L5S1 and refused that procedure, to change my behaviors and my biomechanics, just specifically through posture and movement patterns, to allow me to complete Ironman triathlon after a bone marrow transplant with a back that theoretically needs to be fused. I've also been able to ski in the woods in Colorado on a regular basis without really any significant pain, just simply through understanding and knowledge. I think that is just so critically important, that your body is unique. You need to understand your body. When it comes to blood pressure, I know that Brian mentioned a friend of his, and for him, it's important to know that PANOXOL for that individual is a component of his program. It is not the be-all and end-all. He did need to go on pharmaceutical drugs to control his blood pressure. And it's very important for us to mention that we want people to understand high blood pressure is a deadly condition. Mm. Get a blood pressure cuff. Measure your blood pressure. Understand what it means. Why is it bad to have blood pressure over 120/80? What is it doing to your body? It's doing very significantly damaging things to your eyes, your kidneys, your heart, your brain. I have seen people in their 40s on a regular basis who are on dialysis just because they didn't know they had high blood pressure. People who have strokes in their 40s and 50s just because of high blood pressure, and they had no idea they had it. As Brian said, it's not going to come up and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, guy, you got high blood pressure, go do something about this. If you don't understand it and take control now, you're probably going to have a problem sooner than later. Now, that is to a greater degree, I think, where PANOXOL should come in, is starting earlier. So that you're promoting the health of your endothelium, the lining of your blood vessels from a very early age. We know that blood pressure is something that begins for some people very early. For most of us, it begins as we get older, usually in your 40s or 50s. By the time you get into your 60s, 70% of us have high blood pressure. Getting that under control and preventing the damage before it happens early, I think, is what PANOXOL is most potent for. And again, we're not trying to say it's going to be the be-all and end-all, but it's a powerful tool that kind of opens doors to a better understanding of how powerful plants are, because these are not purified chemicals that are in this pill. They're extracts of plants. The whole plant, the extract, the leaves of the ginkgo, the seed of the horse chestnut. And that's what really what you understand, is that the more you look at these ingredients, read about them, understand them, the better your health is going to be in general.
Love that. Dr. Ronnie, for you as well, we've talked about it before, but because this is a question that always comes up, and it's a great question. But you also, all three of you brought it up in your earlier comments. Why is the research important for the individual to do, but also for you to be able to share with your patients and those you tell about PANOXOL?
Yeah, I'm researching all the time. I'm reaching out because I see so many different types of chronic illnesses in my retreat and on my functional medicine platform, that I have to be able to allow the client or the patient to understand that we have to first start with easy blood flow. We have to start with better oxygenation, with a better metabolism, increase in your energy. And also the other thing that we have to teach people is that with all of that being said, they're still on medications and they're still on other supplements. But I believe the foundation is always going to be opening up the vessels and allowing the blood flow. They understand that. And not only do they understand that, they understand that with that, we got free radicals being controlled. We've got immune system is better. We got all the other things that's going to follow PANOXOL. But the first most, they have to understand that increased weight, increased blood pressure, increased cholesterol, all of those things, increased sugar, and I can go on. Those conditions prevent nitric oxide in the body. So when you start with that, and then you can also critique or you can increase the knowledge based on what other chronic illness they may have. Many people understand that they're inflamed because these are things they can feel, right? Dr. Michaels, he has a whole clinic where he does pain control. So when you talk about that, you allow the person to feel the motivation, because that's the first thing that's going to go away when you get on this. The other thing is, I want to tell, every week I have a new testimony. I had this one lady that flew out here to be with my retreat, and she said to me, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, but she said to me, she says, why is it that I can run up your stairs, but when I'm home, I can't run up my stairs? And I says, well, are you taking PANOXOL at home? So I had to go back with the knowledge and explain to her what this product is doing for her body. So knowledge is everything. And that's how you get people to take it over and over and over again. They have to feel the effects first.
Yeah. I think that's a great thing. Brian, I'm going to bring you back in here because, as I said, you're not only someone who takes PANOXOL, but you also are a brand ambassador. And you're one of those people. Hey, Freddie, hope all is well with you. Thank you for joining us there on the Amazon Live side. Brian, two things. One, and I noticed it there on Instagram, that because you took the two there literally live with us here. I want to ask you about the research, but I want to also ask you about the amount, because it's one thing we have talked about with the doctors before. For Brian, for you, how important was the research for you in helping you make the decision about taking PANOXOL?
It was very important because, once again, knowledge is everything, and to me, if you don't take the time to investigate what are you doing, what the sense of doing it. So to me, what I did is I just took the time, right now did my little research or whatever. And then once I did my research, I start to taking the dose, and I make sure I take 2 in the morning, and right now is 2 in the evening. And you know what? It's like slowly but surely, like one of the big problems that I used to always have, like despite I don't have high blood pressure, but at one point in time, like with my cholesterol, and it's all about going back to diet, going back to exercise, going back to the right sleep, going back to everything. And the biggest problem I used to have is my blood circulating. And a lot of times if I sit too long, or even when you're sleeping, guess what happened? You get the numbness, like you wake up like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? Nothing is circulating. You know what? I don't have that as much as I once did. So when you sit back and you start seeing certain results and you start understanding like, wow, and you start going back to like, start scratching your head like, wait a minute, what to change? And then you starting to understand, wait a minute, hold up. And when you see certain things is working for you, bingo. And not only that, something that everybody's, what we talk about is checking your blood pressure. Even right now, when me and Dr. Michael, we did a piece on my YouTube channel, and he made me, I went out there, I got a cuff. I went out there and got a cuff. And you know what? It's unbelievable because once again, I got people that I grew up with. And like, they say, look, man, I bought a cuff 3 years ago and I neglected to use it. So it's like, what does it sense if we have knowledge or we got equipment and tools and we're not utilizing it? So to me, it doesn't matter. Like, even if we doing this platform and we share all this wealth of information, if people is not going to receive it and utilize it, then guess what it means? It's kind of like a waste. But the difference is, to me, I want to live. I just got a new grandbaby. My granddaughter, my first grandchild, is basically like I'm saying, thank you, is, 26 days old. And you know what? I'm just so excited about that. So that even encouraged me more. I want to be there when she graduated from high school. I want to be there when she graduated from college. I want to, like right now is with grandkids, you get a chance to do it all over again. So, you probably you wasn't the best father to your son or your daughter, but with the grandkids, now you get a chance to do it all over again. And to me, like right now, by me being more focused, more concerned, and taking less risk, opposed to doing idiotic stuff that caused me to die at an early age of a violent death or a health problem. No, I'm taking heed. So any information right now that's going to help me to preserve my life, I'm saying, guess what? Sign me up.
Okay. We have a question on the Amazon Live side from Latoria. We want to get into that one first. Say, for those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Represents. This is part of our For Your Health segment that we're doing here on Amazon Live, but also streaming through other platforms as well. Glad you all could all be with us. You just heard there from Brian Gibbs. He's not only a user of the PANOXOL supplement, but he's also a brand ambassador for PANOXOL as well. We also have joining us Dr. Ronnie DeLuz, as well as Dr. Matthew Michaels. We're talking to you guys about what PANOXOL is, who it's for, exactly how often to take it. That's one of the things that we're just now discussing with Brian. And I want to remind you guys, if you look below in the carousel on the Amazon Live side, no matter what platform you're joining us on, you'll notice it is $30 off today only. They're doing a special for us with this broadcast. So make sure you guys do click through. You can be able to get your own bottle of PANOXOL, again, for $30 off. You all can take advantage of that special right now. Again, I have it highlighted in the carousel on Amazon Live, so definitely make sure you guys take advantage of that as we're going throughout this broadcast. And if you have any questions, feel free to be able to share those. Dr. Michaels, I'm going to start with you with this question from Latoria, and it's a good one. Then Dr. Ronnie, I'm going to bring you in. Latoria asks, and again, Latoria, thank you so much for the question. If on a blood thinner, can we still use PANOXOL? Isn't cayenne pepper a blood thinner? Dr. Michaels?
Well, ultimately, the most concerning ingredient in PANOXOL for any kind of a potential interaction with the blood thinner would be the ginkgo. But the fact is the dosing in the PANOXOL is so low that the odds of an interaction are very, very low. It's very unlikely to actually cause more bleeding, but we also want to make sure that you talk to your doctor about it. Make sure that your doctor who's prescribing your blood thinner knows that you want to try the PANOXOL and that there's ginkgo in it. They can give you the advice that you need based on your unique condition, and only your doctor can do that.
Okay, appreciate that. Dr. Ronnie, anything you want to add there?
And that's a very good question. I have a few clients that are on blood thinners that spoke with their doctor and they're on this product and they're being followed. And so far, so good. I also have a client that has low platelets that's on this product and they're doing as well. So I believe, like Dr. Michael said, it's about.
Dr. Ronnie, we lost you there right at the end there. Yeah, we lost your sound there there at the end. It's showing you're unmuted on my end, Dr. Ronnie, but we lost your sound there at the very end. We're going to try to bring you back though. Let me ask you this, Brian, about what you've heard from others as you've been talking to people about PANOXOL. What has been one of the biggest questions as a user that you've been hearing from people?
Only question I'm really hearing is, like, to me, everybody want to know how long do it take. And to me, right now, it's like it all depends because everybody body and system is different. So to me, like now, where it's like you just got to take its course. Long as you're doing it due diligently, you can't, like, even something that Dr. Ronnie say is like the young lady say, like, why when I'm at your house I can run up the stairs, but when I'm at home I don't. Because once again, is if you don't practice and take it on a daily basis, then you kind of cheating. You can't cheat the process. You got to allow the process to work for you. So to me, as long as you're doing it due diligently, then you're going to see result that you desire and that you're looking for. If you don't do it, then guess what? You're wasting your time.
Dr. Ronnie, try saying something for us. See if we can hear you now.
We still can.
Okay, still can't hear you there. Dr. Michaels, let me bring you in on this point too, because I think this is an interesting thing as far as the amount of time, and also going to the example that Dr. Ronnie mentioned about the individuals who said why she could run the stairs at one place and not run them at home. Is that something that you hear a lot as well, Dr. Michaels, about people wanting to know, for one, how long before they feel a difference, but also how much they should be taking?
Well, right now, what we're selling for as a month supply is 90 capsules. And so for me, I take it 2 in the morning and 1 in the evening. I feel that, to me, I'm awake for roughly 16 plus hours a day, and I'm only asleep for around 7 to 8 hours a day. So it makes more sense to take the higher dose in the morning and the less in the evening. I think that that's a meaningful way to take the product. But ultimately, what you're going to see with this is not like taking a pharmaceutical drug where you notice an instantaneous effect when you take the pill. There is a rapid drop in blood pressure that you can notice if you take your blood pressure before you take the pills. Take a couple of capsules or a couple of the tablets, wait about an hour and check your blood pressure again. And more often than not, you will notice a drop in your blood pressure from the immediate nitric oxide effect. But that immediate nitric oxide effect is really not what we're looking for. It's the more long-term effect on the health of your vasculature by taking this on a regular basis. And of course, by allowing it to be just simply one part of a healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yes, all the time, that kind of thing. I was going to ask Brian, he had mentioned to me on our last talk, something about noticing changes in his body when he was on the PANOXOL. Tell us about that, if you would.
The changes that I've seen as far as, to me, like I can see as far as like shedding, like, right now to me, I love what I can see as far as certain clothes that I wear that, I start wearing that I can fit now. Whereas beforehand, and not only that, that comes from like not just taking the peroxide, but it's come from working out also. But the difference is like something that, Cyrus, that you have mentioned as far as like with the young lady. And to me, I can remember like, why can I run up the stairs here, but not there? And I can remember having a situation whereas at one point in time, what I was going through and what I was dealing with. And what I was going through and dealing with was I had back problems. And right now it's like when I had the back problem and they, prescribed me medication and I wasn't taking it. So when I went back to the doctor, and right now I start explaining the situation to the doctor, and she was telling me, she look, that means you're not taking the medication. So I'm like, how did you know that? Because based upon the symptom and the sign. So the difference is, like right now, is if you take and you do it due diligently, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get the result that you're looking for. But if you don't do that, how can you expect great result when you half-step it? You can't half-step it.
Dr. Ronnie, you want to try to speak, see if we can hear you now? Okay, yeah, we still can't hear you, Dr. Ronnie.
Sounds like maybe if you have a USB microphone, maybe the plug slipped out a little bit.
Yeah, Dr. Ronnie, why don't you try to go out and come back in, and we'll see if that helps. Okay. So I want to ask this question, Dr. Michaels, and then and get Brian to check in, and I think Keith also mentioned as well. But I want to let's see. I think it's pronounced, and forgive me if I mispronounced it, Tikia or Tatia. She says, apologies if I missed it. How long has the product been in use? Dr. Michaels, can you help with that?
Well, the product was developed in 2010 and has been in use since roughly 2011 on a regular basis. The patent, I think, originated around that same time, 2011. So it's a 20-year patent, and there's 10 years remaining on it.
Okay. Dr. Ronnie, what about now? Can you say something, see if we can hear you?
No.
Oh, yeah, still not, Dr. Ronnie. I don't know. But yeah, you're showing open our end, but yeah, it's something. Yeah, we can't hear you there. So we're going to try to keep coming back to you, Dr. Ronnie. See if you can see if it may. Dr. Ronnie, is it showing for you? Is your mic showing on there on your end? Yeah, it's yeah, not sure what may be going on there. Hopefully, Dr. Ronnie, we can be able to bring you back in. Would love to be able to get you back involved. Brian, I want to ask you this question, and this is Ellie's asking, and again, it's a good question because of course people who are associated with the product are going to say it's great, right? But Ellie wants to know, is this really good? I mean, did you go into it, Brian, with any skepticism?
Of course, because once again, like, you know what, to me, you got to check everything out for yourself, because anybody can tell you anything. And even right now, I know Critique for years. And when he came to me about that or whatever, yeah, I was skeptical. And that's why what I made mention about, with Michael Jackson or any celebrity, what people do is people come along and what they do, they'll tell you, here, I give you X amount, promote this product for me. And they don't even use the product. So the difference is right now, no, I didn't want to be that. I want to make sure right now, in order for me to speak about something, I have to be able to be involved and see that it result. So I start taking this in June. So it's June. This is October.
It sounds like Dr. Ronnie's back on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, Dr. Ronnie, will you say something for us?
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes.
I can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. I want to say, Dr. Ronnie, I'm going to bring you into the conversation here. I want to say thank you, C. Haynes, for following us there on the Amazon Live side. Appreciate you all, and appreciate the questions too. I think, again, that's why we're doing these roundtable discussions, because for people who are, even though we've had the doctors on previously, some of you are new. You may be shopping here on Amazon.com. You may have come across it because of the items that are in the carousel, whether it's Dr. Ronnie and Dr. Michael's books or PANOXOL, and it's led you here. And if you have questions, feel free while we have the experts here, because they can help you a whole lot more than I can. So please feel free to be able to put your questions in the chat. We appreciate that. And remember, for today only, for our broadcast, you all can get $30 off of this U.S. patented supplement. Again, $30 off. You can get it for only $58 today. So definitely make sure you all take advantage of that. You can click on the product below in the carousel to be able to see more about it and to be able to to place your order as well. Dr. Ronnie, a couple of things I want to catch you up on that I wasn't able to ask you about. We invoked your the one individual that you mentioned about couldn't run steps at home, but could run it when they were with you. One of the questions that was asked, of course, that we were talking about is how much. Is that one of the questions you get a lot too? How much PANOXOL should I take?
Yeah, well, when they first come to the retreat, I always start out with two, to make sure how they're doing. But again, they stay with me for a long time, for 21 days, and
Okay.
usually by the second week, it is completely a different story. They have decrease in their inflammation. Some of them come with edema or swelling ankles. They have decrease in the swelling of their ankles. They have increased energy, increased metabolism, and this is what allows them, you know. And that's also meaning good oxygenation, right? Because we're also doing a program where they're drinking green drinks and, antioxidant juices and soups. So, we are already decreasing the inflammation with the food changes and everything. So with everything together, but I'm completely convinced that to this year, when I've added PANOXOL to our program, our detoxification program, that I have seen a tremendous difference. And when the book first came out 12 years ago, the 21 Pounds of 21 Day book, at that particular time, we were seeing great results, but it's nothing like what we're seeing now. And I know it's because of the PANOXOL. And the other thing that we're seeing is a tremendous ability to focus better. We're not begging them to go for a walk. They're actually just leaving the facility and going for a walk on their own. So
Mm.
I see some changes in the way they think and how they're making decisions as well. And I think, Willis Victory and we talked about a book, and one of the things we were writing this book on detoxification solutions, and I believe that this product belongs in every detox or cleanse protocol around the country. It's so profound. That's my belief. And the other thing that I believe that all of those children who are obese around the country and all their doctors are saying eat less, exercise more, completely nonsense. They cannot exercise more and eat less. What they have to do is change their pattern, change what they're eating, put them on PANOXOL, get them moving, get their motivation better, get their brain focusing better, get more oxygen in their brain. You just can't say get off the couch and move. They have no oxygen.
One of the questions coming in on the Instagram side, Dr. Ronnie, I'm going to let you take this first, and Dr. Michaels bring you in. Another great question. And again, I appreciate you guys joining us on all the different platforms. I was just tweeting with someone who's on Twitter who's watching us there. We're glad to have them with us today as well. But the question is about engagement with other medication. Are there anything that, and I guess this may come, and I'll let you all answer, but I would think this has something to do with the communication with your doctor as well. But what should they be able to talk to their doctor about, Dr. Ronnie, when it comes to how this might interact with other medication they may be taking?
I get that question a lot. And what I say is talk to your doctor about it and tell them what's in it. We're talking about L-arginine, that's an amino acid, L-citrulline. We're talking about ginkgo biloba. It's been around for hundreds of years. Horse chestnut, red yeast rice, and cayenne pepper, guys. Talk to your doctor about this. There is nothing in this formula that I can say that's contraindication. However, you have to talk to your doctor about it.
Hmm. Dr. Michaels, anything you want to add there?
I would say the exact same thing, basically. Again, keep in mind that each one of these ingredients, if you take them individually, you're going to be taking a substantially larger dose than what we're offering in the PANOXOL capsule. And even then, the chances of them interacting with your drugs in a meaningful way are low. Ginkgo is probably the highest risk one with the blood thinners, and even that is not terribly high. But please do talk to your doctor before you take the product. One of the questions that we've had previously was about FDA approval. It's important to know that this product does not have FDA approval because the FDA does not approve nutraceuticals and botanical supplements. It doesn't get involved in that.
Hmm. I want to recognize Bill Dennis is joining us on the Facebook side. Bill says, thanks so much for making clear a path to overall health and wellness. Bill, thank you so much for the comment there. Have another question from the Amazon Live side. Dr. Michael, since we have you on the main screen, I'm going to let you start off with this and then bring Dr. Ronnie back in. The question is this a product that one should continue to take, meaning after weight loss, normalized blood pressure, improved metabolism, after improvements in these areas, is it expected to continue with the product? That's a very good question. Dr. Michael?
Well, for me, absolutely. I don't intend to ever stop taking this product, and I would suggest that this is not meant to be taken just as a drug for a short period of time to get somewhere. I don't really think there is a destination with something like this. It really is more just a part of your diet and lifestyle. I would encourage you to use it basically forever. And again, you can look at the ingredients and decide if you want to try them elsewhere or try them one by one. That's fine. But this unique blend is you're only going to find it here.
Yeah. Dr. Ronnie, I love this question. I thank everyone for their great questions. We had another one just come in too, but Dr. Ronnie, I want to get your thoughts about this. After someone's achieved what their intended goal was, it sounds like here, is this something they should expect to continue to take?
Absolutely. I'm never going to stop taking it. It has done, I mean, even without effort, I've lost a few more pounds, which is always good, and it increased my energy and my focus. I mean, why would I want to stop? I've seen miracles with this product. I've seen my clients walk in a retreat with a cane and not walking out with one. I mean, do you hear what I'm saying here? This is nothing more than a miracle. No, I've never stopped taking this.
Okay. Betty has a question on the Amazon Live side as well. Dr. Ronnie, since we have you on the main screen, we're going to let you take it first and then bring in Dr. Michaels. And this is an interesting question, and it seems to have two parts to it. I'm going to read the whole question, but feel free to break it down as you all would like. Betty says, how long does it take for the cholesterol to start going down? Also, does this mix with blood pressure medicine and cholesterol meds, or when should a person stop taking both blood pressure and cholesterol, cold turkey, or gradually? So, Dr. Ryan, I'm going to let you take either all of that or part of it, and we can come back to the second part if you want to separate. It's totally up to you.
Okay, so we're dealing with the four highs. High cholesterol at the same time, guys. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, high A1C, so their sugar levels are high and they're obese. We put them on this product and we have seen tremendous changes with their blood pressure going down. We do blood work as well. So all of these changes are happening. However, you really have to get blood work every 3 to 4 months to see some of the most dramatic changes. And if you go to your doctors and you have a yearly checkup, make sure they check. Also, I believe, just like Dr. Michael said, you have to do your blood pressure at home. We're now practicing all of these procedures at home now. I've actually taught somebody to test their urine the other day at home. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with saying, please take your blood pressure at home, take your oxygenation at home, take your pulse. We're now online helping you do this. We can teach you online now to test some of the most basic vitals at home, and you're going to see for yourself these things getting better. You're going to see for yourself your blood pressure's getting better. Don't take our word for it. Try it.
I
And
love
then
that.
go to
Thank you
your
for that.
doctors. Then go to your doctors and give them the printout that you've been writing down yourself for the next 3 months. Give it to your doctor.
Appreciate that. Thank you for that, Dr. Ronnie. And Betty, thank you for that important question. Dr. Michaels, again, you can take it in pieces if you'd like, or the whole thing, but it seems like Betty's asking two things here. One, how long does it also take for the cholesterol to start going down? And second, about, I guess if there is a change with the blood pressure cholesterol, should they stop taking the medication cold turkey or gradually?
Well, let's talk about the timing. So this is, again, not a pharmaceutical drug. We don't expect dramatic results immediately, but the most important part of the next part of the question is the cholesterol itself. Red yeast rice is the original source of lovastatin, which is the first statin drug that we used to control cholesterol back in the early 1990s. We know that this is such a potent tool that at times some of the side effects you get from lovastatin, the actual drug, you can actually get from red yeast rice if you take too much of it. So there's a rare side effect called rhabdomyolysis where your muscles can actually break down as a reaction to lovastatin or any of the other statin drugs. Same thing can happen if you take too much red yeast rice. So if you are on high doses of statins right now, again, you're going to want to talk to your doctor before you start using this product. What you may find is that if you've never had any kind of problem with rhabdomyolysis, it's simply not an issue for you. Have the conversation with your doctor, and you're going to be looking for changes to occur over the course of months and then ongoing for a lifetime with this product. So again, that gets back to the notion of it's not something you're just going to take until you get to a certain level with your cholesterol or your weight or whatever, recognizing that weight loss is challenging. Weight maintenance is no less challenging. It's almost just as hard to keep your weight at the number that you want it to be at as it is to get there in the first place. So this product is going to be valuable for getting your weight to where you want it to be and keeping it there as time goes by as well. But from there, again, please talk to your doctor about your statin drugs, what you're on, that there is red yeast rice in this product. And they may simply say, okay, look, this sounds like a great product. If you want to try it, what we're going to do is we're going to monitor you. You're going to be aware that if you get any soreness in your thighs that you can't explain, your muscles are getting painful and weak, stop taking the product. Go back to the doctor, get some blood work to see if you develop that problem. If you don't develop it, monitor your blood cholesterol over a period of time to see what the changes are. And I think in the long run, you'll be better off if you can get off of the pharmaceuticals and only be on PANOXOL. That would be good, but we don't know for sure that you're going to be able to do that. The point is, maintain a healthy blood pressure, measure it, understand it, maintain a healthy cholesterol, not just with this product, but with diet, exercise, etc. Do all of those things. Again, I can't emphasize enough how PANOXOL is not meant to be a standalone. It's meant to be one part of a healthy lifestyle. Please remember that.
Yeah. Really great questions. Another great panel. And Brian, so glad to get your perspective as someone who's not only also using PANOXOL, but also as a brand ambassador. Again, everyone, Dr. Matthew Michaels has been our guest. Dr. Ronnie DeLuz has been back with us. And Brian Glaze Gibbs have been here talking with us about PANOXOL, the benefits, how it should be taken, but also the important key takeaways for myself. For one, the research. Make sure that you're doing your own research, but also that communication with your medical professionals. So important. And I think, the other thing that the doctors brought up that I think is also great is that it's not one size fits all. I mean, everybody's an individual. So make sure that you are being able to monitor, as you heard Dr. Ronnie say, your own numbers so that you can be able to present that to your medical professional. And that will help you as you are making your plans. Also, keep in mind, as we've been saying throughout this broadcast, that PANOXOL they have a special running on with us today. Here on Amazon Live, you all can get $30 off. As you guys can see, the regular price is $88. It's on sale right now in the carousel here on Amazon Live for only $58. So you all can take advantage of that. Again, a U.S. patented supplement. You all can get it today for $58. You can take advantage of that. All you have to do is click on it there in the Amazon carousel. And then, of course, you'll be able to get your discount when you check out there. Again, I really appreciate our guest for being on with us again, Dr. Michaels. Since we have you front and center, let our viewers know how they can stay connected with you.
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. That's the only social media platform that I'm still on under Matthew Michaels, MD. Feel free to message me there and connect. We can chat if you like. That's going to be the most valuable place. You can read my book. It's available on Amazon. Take control of your back pain and learn how to stop hurting yourself. That really is my underlying philosophy about back pain, is that we do things every day with our posture and our movement patterns that lead to further injury just simply from our biomechanics. Once you understand that, you can change everything with your back pain and take it from being a condition that controls your life to being something, one little nuisance in your life.
There you go. And we're highlighting Dr. Michael's book there in the carousel there on Amazon. You all can click it now. You see I've moved it to the front of the page there on Amazon Live. You all can be able to get the book there and then, of course, be able to check out with it when you get your PANOXOL as well. Dr. Ronnie, glad that we could have you back on with us. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
You can stay connected by going to my website, drronniedeluz.com. You can grab the book on Amazon, 21 Pounds in 21 Days, the Martha's Vineyard Diet Detox. And stay connected there because we're going to be sending you information about our next retreat, which will not be in Martha's Vineyard. This time we're going to go to the Dominican Republic sometime in January. I think it's January 23rd, but we will highlight that on the website very soon.
Awesome. And we have Dr. Ronnie's book highlighted right now on the carousel, 21 pounds in 21 days. You all can get it there. It looks like we have both the Kindle and the paperback there as well. So you all can take advantage of being able to get that, again, while you're checking out with your PANOXOL Plus and save your $30 on your bottle today. Brian, again, so glad that you could be on with us today. How can our viewers stay connected with you?
They can stay connected to me. Follow me on YouTube, the Brian Glaze Gibbs channel. Also, I have a large following on Brian Gibbs. And also, if you want to get your copy of the Brian Glaze Gibbs story, there you go. True story of, change and redemption by emailing me. You can get your signed copy or you can get it from Amazon. I'm not that. You can get your signed copy emailing me at Brian, Brian Gibbs, Gibbs 1201 at yahoo.com, or you can get it from Amazon. But the difference is right now, what I want to say before I end this is this, man. You know what? You got to invest in yourself. And to me, regardless of what, I'm glad that I had the opportunity to, critique, thought of me. And basically right now it's like, me, I'm very skeptical about a lot of things. And the difference is right now is if you don't take the time to invest in your health, then guess what? Nobody else is going to. So thank you.
Well, look, thanks again to all three of you. Really appreciate this time. Again, this is part of our For Your Health here on Amazon Live. So glad to be able to share this great information. And again, I want to remind our audience, if you all have, this is something that you want to be able to try for yourself, now is the perfect time to be able to do it. PANOXOL is $30 off with this broadcast. So as we're getting ready to wrap up here, make sure you guys do click below in the carousel on Amazon Live to get a U.S. patented supplement available right now. Again, the regular prices you see there, $88. I have it highlighted again in the carousel there on Amazon Live. You all can get your bottle now for only $58. Dr. DeLuz, Dr. Michaels, Brian, thank you again so much for this time. Really appreciate it. And looking forward to next month's conversation with you.
Right. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Thank you very much,
And
Cyrus.
we thank you, our viewers, for tuning in to another great segment. Cyrus Webb presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one, and we'll talk soon. Take care.
Good night.